Dooley kicking up dust on a one-lane road. Joe Diffie tunes humming out the radio. And the night so young as we are right now, sitting frozen in time on the edge of town.
Did you get some water?
Ice water. I put a lot of ice in it, and I can refill it at the water hydrant down here, because that right there will only last about 3 hours. Then I drank 2 of these this morning. Well, ready to do a walk and talk?
Mm-hmm.
You got some water?
No.
Let's go this way. I went through these rows this morning. We had some suckers and some flowers that showed up after our last topping. We made 2 toppings, but we still didn't get every single plant. We just got the ones that flowered. So here we are a week after the fact, and there's some late bloomers, literally. Also, on some of the plants, the chemical killed all the suckers but one. And that sucker has made a flower, and in some cases a couple of extra leaves, but they're not big enough to be cigar wrapper. So what I've been doing is getting out in front of these guys and removing those so that when they're out there cutting, they can establish a rhythm. Because I noticed when they were cutting, every time they had to stop and take care of a flower or a sucker problem, it slowed them down.
So what was it? The chemicals they didn't set right, or just not enough applicated chemical to it, or just something you missed?
I'm not real sure. It's one of the above.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk this pair right here. I want you on this outside so you don't break no leaves. But you can see how big this stuff is. Actually, this is bigger than what they're putting in right now. But I think that later today or on Thursday they'll be over here. I'm just doing one last inspection. Now here's something to look at. This is called a ground sucker. This is called a ground sucker, and it's a shoot. This thing right here is a shoot that grew out of that plant. But look, there's not any leaves there big enough to be a wrapper.
Damn near the size of a...
We don't want that taking up space in our barn. This one here looks like it's got a couple of decent leaves on it, so we'll give it a pass. This one here's been eaten. Dang. I'm looking for the characteristic worm poop, and I'm not finding any.
And despite the chemicals. Well, I guess if you don't get good enough coverage.
I don't see how that's possible, though. The nozzles we're using use 50 gallons of water to the acre. Sucker. Look. Sucker. And a sucker on the sucker. Another one. Just a parasite, that's all that is. Now, here we go. Here's a plant. So that's what we're doing. We'll take these 2 rows, 600 feet east. We'll take the next 2, 600 feet west. Some of these you just got to make a judgment call. I may have let a sucker go right there, but it looked like it had a few usable leaves on it, but that in there, not so much. If that was burley, we'd probably haul that in because we could probably put that in the tips. Baler number 3, ground sucker, sucker, weed. I'll cut them too. Good stuff. Real good stuff. You hear that noise? I think I broke a leaf. Trying to kind of glide through here without tearing it up, but it's difficult. a much faster process than the initial topping. A lot of these plants are fine just the way they are. You were asking about the effectiveness of the chemical. It could be that when we applied the chemical, we didn't quite get it in the right spot. It could also be when we were topping this, we had several little pop-up showers. So if we got a little rain, it may have rinsed the chemical off before it had time to be effective. And I think that particular chemical, even hand applied, is not 100% effective. It's like 95. That's a mess. We don't need any of that. Don't need that taking up my barn space. Daddy bought that Little International tractor brand new in 1972. At the time, he was an employee of the dealership. And they had 6 of those on the lot. So he took all 6 of them to the dynamometer. And the one that had the most horsepower is the one he brought home. Now that little tractor is what we would call a utility tractor. When you climb on, you straddle the transmission tunnel. And I guess you noticed that it has a low profile, puts you close to the ground. For some applications, it's less than ideal, particularly discing, bush hogging when there's a lot of dust. But for this application, it's hard to beat because you can drive in underneath that low-hanging tobacco and not tear it up and not be hit in the face. And of course, our tractors that have the cab on them can't go in there at all now. That's the one drawback. By hanging this barn so full of tobacco, I can't even put my tractor in it. But I might leave out a beam at the bottom just so I have a hole to put my tractor in, or my baler. I typically leave a couple of holes on the ends. One for the tractor, one for the baler, maybe one for the sprayer. And I don't know, this tobacco is shorter than the burley that we usually put in there, so there may be enough clearance to at least get in there part way. Mess. But I'm glad we're able to get out here and get this straightened up before they cut it.
I'm surprised you didn't have Jose and Pedro out here.
I want them to focus on cutting and getting it in the barn. And if I accidentally cut one of these pretty leaves.
What kind of shears are you using?
Fiskars.
Fiskars.
If I accidentally cut one of these pretty leaves, that's on me, and I can't be upset at them. That and there just pulled right off. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And look how retarded. I mean,
Yeah.
The leaves that chemical worked on that, like, not 100%, but it hurted.